Hey, what's up, you guys? This is Michael, aka Gearhead the Man on Brickfilms University, and I have a new lesson for you guys. It's all about focus. I'm going to teach you guys what it is, how to use it, and what role it plays in film. So as you can see here, I'm on one of my sets from one of my upcoming animations. That's right, Phil Special. And I got a shot lined up right here, and Phil will go into focus here. Oh, the irony. You can see right here, I have a shot lined up, and I have a certain thing in focus. I have the back guy in focus. And when you first look at this shot, you can kind of tell that your eyes first jump. Well, maybe it jumps to this guy first because he's bigger and more prominent. But if you were looking at this picture, then you'd probably notice him first because he is the guy in focus. So focus is a really important aspect of film. It tells the audience where to look pretty much. Whatever's in focus, that's the thing that you're going to be looking at. That's the main draw of the current scene. It's usually someone that's talking. Like for instance, this guy is going to be talking in the next part of the scene. He was at first, but then I made him out of focus and had him in focus. So so to draw attention to him, from him to him. So focus is really important, and a lot of novice animators seem to mess it up a little bit. So I'm going to go over it just a bit, how to maintain focus with whatever camera you're using. I'll go over all kinds of cameras, so here we go. Okay, so here on my webcam, you can see that I'm looking into my camera's, my main camera's LCD screen, and you can see that I have it pointed at a guy right here. Now, he looks in focus, and right now I have the camera on manual autofocus, so that whenever I push the take picture button down halfway, whatever is in that rectangle will be in focus. So his face. So that's pretty much all of him is in focus. Now, I wouldn't recommend autofocus cameras because what if your guy is over a little bit? If you focus, it focuses what's in the back of him or behind him, and you can see that he is now blurry. So if your camera is autofocus only, first of all, if you don't have a camera, I would definitely recommend that you would get a manual focus camera, or at least a camera that has manual focus, like this webcam, and actually this camera as well has manual focus too. Pretty much all modern day cameras have both, except for compact cameras. Those will usually only have autofocus, the cheaper ones anyway. So avoid only autofocus at all times. You have to get manual focus if you want to control your focus. However, if you already have an autofocus only camera, one way that you can have your subject in focus like this, if he's out to the side, is if you have like a Lego brick or something, or just anything really. I mean, I usually just use Legos because they're usually at hand. So what you do is you put them at the same distance away. You put them right next to your subject, the same distance away from the camera. That way when you focus it, it'll focus on this, which is the same distance as your subject is. So that's one way to do it if you only have an autofocus camera. So like I said, my camera also has manual focus, as yours should as well. And usually modern day cameras with a touchscreen like this, what you can do is you can go into your focus settings, and then it will have this bigger box up on the screen here. And wherever you tap on the screen, it will put that in focus. It works pretty well. The only problem is that you can't really get it in anything outside the rectangle. That doesn't really matter. I use this all the time. Actually, I take that back. I use it every time I animate. Every time I'm about to do a shot, I always use that method of focusing. I never use autofocus, because if something were to change, because sometimes if it's iffy, if your subject is halfway in the frame here, sometimes it doesn't really know where. Like eventually, if I move him a little bit or whatever, eventually it will focus to the back of him. Just trust me, it will. I know this from experience. So if you're using a webcam like I am, as of right now, I don't use it to animate, but I do use it when I'm animating. Okay, that makes no sense, but bottom line, I use it when I animate, but I don't use the footage from it. It's kind of a long story. Might have that in another tutorial. But if I go into my camera settings here, I get properties, camera control. If I move the focus around, oh, it's on auto, that's why. So most webcams do have manual focus. If they don't have it on a little menu like that, then they will have it. Then they will have a focus ring. That's usually with older webcams. Either way, though, you should have one on a webcam. Why is the exposure all crazy? There we go. So the best way to use focus when you're doing stop motion, or in any kind of film really, the focus should always be on the main focus of the scene. It's kind of self-explanatory, really. So let's say the guy in the DC shirt is talking. He's the one that should be in focus, like right now. If he is talking, though, then he should be in focus. Or it doesn't have to be talking. It could be whoever is doing the main action. Like maybe he could be talking, and then this guy's about to draw out a knife and kill him. Yeah, he might be talking, but you want to see him pulling out the knife, and you can't do that if it's out of focus. Out of focus, I mean. But usually the way it goes is if someone's talking, then they should be in focus. So if the guy in the back is talking, he's trying to convince him to not do something. And there. Yeah, this camera doesn't have the best focus. This isn't the best webcam, so it's kind of a bad example. But, you know, this guy's out of focus, this guy's in focus. And so focus is really important when you're animating on such a small scale like this, because the smaller the object is, the smaller the smaller the focal field it has. So if this were two actual people, then they would most likely both be in focus right now. But because it's such on a small scale, that's totally different. So one final note here, guys, if you're using autofocus, just put your subject in the scene and then focus it, not the other way around. And if you're using manual focus, or your camera has manual focus, definitely take advantage of it, because this shot is terrible. I see this way too much in beginner animation films. I'm not trying to be mean there. I'm just speaking the truth. It's not that hard just to bring it in. Oh, and then one other thing. If your guy is like right up to the camera, and that, you're gonna have to do that every once in a blue moon, then exercise the camera's capability to zoom in or zoom out in most cases. Usually when this happens to me, I'm zoomed in a little bit. So usually I'll zoom out so I can get it in focus, and that's good right there. So you're not gonna get the exact shot you want if it's too close up. You're gonna have to back up a little bit. That happens to me every time I animate. Don't get it too close, otherwise it will not focus. So I think that about wraps it up. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope they help you out. Subscribe for more lessons on how to brick film. Alright, class dismissed.